Hey, Ron, don't roll your eyes at me. Don't roll your eyes.
Hey, that's a clip.
If I see that clip, I'm going to his body.
That's a clip. Get the edit.
Ron!
Anyways, E, break it down.
So
What is
we start.
yeah, yes, we're starting. He's just gonna edit that out.
Got it.
Got it.
All right. So my understanding is JJ overall, I think, is saying that he feels Doc doesn't hold himself accountable
Mhm.
for the difficulties he's had winning when he's had good teams and good players on his teams, and the expectations are that these teams are going to go do well, go deep into the playoffs. So he always has the right answer for all the questions that he gets asked. And I think JJ is kind of fed up with that and wanting Doc to just say, hey, it was my fault. Or say, this is what he can do better in situations. That's kind of the vibe that I'm getting from JJ and everything that I've heard him say about the topic. But again, Ma, I don't know, what are you seeing? What are you getting from JJ?
So, from what I've seen, just kind of like you said, Doc always has an excuse why his teams cannot get past a certain point. Outside, of course, the championship Celtics, there has not been an overall successful Doc Rivers team after that. Now it comes down to, oh, he can't control coming in at a certain point in the season. He can't control XYZ. But then he still wants to take credit for things that are praised. Like he wants to take credit for the James Harden move. He wants to take credit for wins from when he just came in and really didn't make any rotation changes and things of that nature. So yes, JJ's like, well, we still need to hold him accountable because it's not just the players. It comes down to the coaching as well. Doc cannot consistently have scapegoat moments or just not being held to the highest standard of coaching. So after that, all I see is Pat Bev coming to him like, well, Doc saved your career, which is not true because JJ still continued to play after that. So yes, JJ had playoff slumps, but those teams as a whole literally went down the toilet in the playoffs. Like after the second round, like during the second round, they were getting knocked out by Memphis for the most times. I mean, like Lob City when he mentioned that. So we can't act like JJ didn't still continue to start on other teams and even started the Pelicans before he retired. But one thing I do respect about Pat Bev, he is going to ride for his teammates, his coach, whoever he's playing for, whatever organization he signed with. That is who he's going to defend. So regardless, what I saw from that, when you cannot dispute somebody's point, you attack them personally. So what did he do? He attacked JJ personally because there was no disputing JJ's points. You see it all the time. Anytime somebody can't agree with you, they move the goalposts and they disrespect you. So people have you address that rather than the facts that you brought up. So Pat isn't wrong that, even after his slump, Doc kept him going. But JJ's not wrong either. Doc is never held to the highest standard of coaching, and he's always given the goalpost movement. So it's like there's a reason why he has an escape or excuse for every time he has not exceeded expectations or at least met them.
So why you think that is though? Like why does Doc I think the media kind of treats him pretty nice, softly, I guess.
Doc is
But he's shown a record to not win when it with these
yeah,
good teams and continue to lose.
yeah, he's a regular season winner. But when it comes down to the playoffs and struggles, Doc essentially presents as who the league wanted Mark Jackson to be.
Mm.
Mark Jackson developed players. He was a winner. He's a great coach. He's praised by all his players. Doc Rivers essentially is who they league. I feel pushes forward like, hey, be like this. Develop players. Make good things happen. But he's able to say the safe thing inside of a press conference. He's able to say the thing that everybody wants to hear. He's able to make you feel safe in these spaces. You know, Mark
But
Jackson
make
was
who
saying
feel safe though? The players are the media and
the
and,
media,
and the
like
owners.
Mark Jackson challenged those things. That's why they don't have him coaching right now.
I agree. Ron.
I had to remember that I can't curse because I was about to curse.
Do you have
And
to curse? No.
I don't have to curse, but as I was thinking about this, you know who popped up to my mind?
What's up?
Popovich. And the reason why he's popped up to my mind is because I feel like with basketball, and on one of our other episodes, we was going to touch on it, and we could touch on it another time. I feel like we as people pick and choose when we want to hold people to certain standards. I feel like Doc Rivers is held to certain standards that make sense, but then when it comes to others, we move the goalposts for them and we don't hold them to certain standards. And I feel that for guys like Popovich. Like I understand Doc's right. You was a champion. You was a champion at Boston, right? You come to the Clippers, right? So correction, my bad. You went to the finals with Orlando, right? You won a championship with Boston, right? You then go to the Clippers, right? You didn't do nothing there at the Clippers, and then you go from the Clippers to Philly. So obviously he's going to be the person that's going to be held to the higher standard no matter what player you have on the team.
So what's your
Because,
issue with Pop? What I don't get what you comparing with Pop and Doc.
oh, where has he been at the past couple of years?
The past couple of years, but look at this man's track record compared to Doc. That's no comparison.
But again, for somebody where so follow me, right? Because
Okay.
he damn near basically tanked the season to get Wemby. He got
Hmm.
Wemby. He's still losing. So even though let's use that as an example, right? I feel like people who get rings or get championships or everything, they can't be touched. But other people can we can steadily go after them and everything.
But
I
who's
feel like
touching Doc though? I don't feel like anybody's really coming at the Doc. I mean, you got a few people here and they say something about
I
the
feel
loss of
like
the 1-3.
I feel the energy we give that Doc, we should give the same energy to get to Popovich because Popovich hasn't done nothing lately either. I can't remember the
But
last time he went to the finals.
I'm gonna have to push back on that one a little bit though, because
Okay.
Pop has shown no matter not I shouldn't say no matter, but with multiple teams over the course of the Spurs career, they've won, right? And his overall record is a winning record. Doc, on the other hand, right? Outside of Boston, when he's had, three of the top tier players we've had in our generation on one team, he ain't really gone as far, done as well with anybody else when he's had pretty good players. They may not have been Hall of Fame players like KG and Ray Allen, but at the time, they'll be considered top players in the league, top 10 players in the league, the times that he's had these teams, and hasn't been able to recreate that same success and has lost 3-1 leads multiple times. I don't think we ever seen that from Pop.
When's the last thing we have seen from Pop is the question.
Well, I mean, all right, Pop has literally won in this over the span of 3 decades. I'm just saying, yes. And it all came down to when he had generational talent on the team. When he no longer had generational talent, yes, the team struggled. And yes, it was kind of like, oh, what do we do now? Because his escape was he just lost his core that he had since 99.
Mm-hmm.
His core player, of course, Tim Duncan. That was the core of his championships.
Mm-hmm.
So without that, they're like, all right, what? I get it. What have you done lately? you've had players come there and no longer be who they were in previous markets. Like DeRozan is not the same DeRozan he was with the Raptors. XYZ. And like now you have Wemby, and Wemby is supposed to be this next generational talent. And yes, we get highlights of Wemby, but there's not the wins to back up this generational talent who's supposed to be dominating the league. So I see what you're saying.
Okay. All right.
So it's like it's harder to compare. It's not apples to apples. It's apples to oranges with that because Pop has quote unquote the pedigree of winning.
All right. Let's
It's
move
like,
on from that.
yeah, trying to go with Phil Jackson, especially with his Knicks years.
All right, let's move on from that because I already know I can get long-winded about that one. So let's go ahead and move on to this interesting tour we're about to have. The No Bull Tour. Who's on this tour? Luke Longley, Horace Grant, and
Scottie Pippen.
And Scottie Pippen. And I noticed
Yep.
that Horace Grant was wearing Jordan shoes. So what's this tour supposed to be about? Honestly,
it's them telling their side
Their
of
side,
the
yeah.
Last Dance because Luke Longley he was left out. Like no one was going to Australia to come get you, fam. They weren't going to send a Netflix box to you so you can record yourself. Like no one thinks about those times. Like you know what I really need right now is a Luke Longley jersey. You know,
was he even an all-star?
No, he literally he fit the mold of what Phil Jackson teams need. You just need
At
a
that
guy
time.
who can in that triangle need somebody to clog the paint. And that's what he did. He clogged the paint. He made things happen. Horace Grant, like I said, his biggest accomplishment outside of the Bulls was beating the Bulls when Jordan returned. Claiming, he gave them the blueprint to beat the Bulls because he was a part of that team. And he beat baseball-shaped Mike, but they didn't beat basketball-shaped Mike.
I honestly don't want to hear no negativity about a team that repeated twice.
Like, honestly, it just feels like a money grab. And I feel sorry for anybody who's paying money to go see this. This seems like it could be a TED Talk given out for free. You might get click money, but no one needs to go sit and hear these three gentlemen talk for 2 hours. We've seen enough of Scottie Pippen over the years, praising Jordan and then taking away the praise and praising himself and downgrading Jordan, picking and choosing when he says Jordan's the best ever and when he decides LeBron's the best ever, depending on if he's mad at Jordan or not. And now it's the whole thing with Jordan's son was dating his ex-wife. And it's a whole big thing. It does not make sense that all of this is happening at one time. And then again, who asked for Luke Longley?
Well, there you go. There go right there. There go the Jordan hate right there. Your son poking my wife.
Well, I played. Hater. I play devil's advocate on this one. Everybody I think is assuming it's supposed to be negative or they're supposed to talk bad about Jordan in the documentary, but is that what they're planning to do or not? I don't know. I think we're assuming that's what they're gonna do, but they may not necessarily. They may just be talking about, like how we've seen other players get interviewed now that everybody's got a podcast. They come on telling what they saw in the locker room and their sides of different stories that we heard throughout the years. So is it just them simply having a conversation about the experience they shared? Or is it really a complaint? I was about to caught myself. Go ahead.
It's not like they sitting down on a podcast. It's not like they were invited to like ABC Nightly or NBC News or any of those outlets. These guys are funding a tour to go around and say, this is what you left out of The Last Dance, hoping that there are some old head players or old head fans that really want to come out and see them, because no one in this LeBron fan era is paying money to go see this.
Didn't Horace go play for Orlando?
Yes, after the first three-peat, he went to Orlando. Like I said, and after that three-peat, his thing was he beat the Bulls with that Magic team with Shaq and Penny when
Yeah.
Jordan was in baseball shape,
Hey,
Was
fellas,
out.
only
no,
for them to get washed by the Rockets.
hey,
Twice.
fellas, no offense, no offense. Next topic.
There's really not much to
No,
that.
no,
I said,
Like,
I ain't paying for it, but we'll see what happens. I don't think much is gonna come of it.
like
all
he's
right,
about to get 1 star on anything is going out there.
So
all right.
got a couple of hot topic. Well, I said, see what you guys' thoughts. I like the little segment we did last time. Throwing some couple of questions out there that nobody's expecting. So I got a couple for y'all this time around. We're gonna keep it in the NBA since that's what we're talking about. So first one is if they were in the same draft, who would you all pick? Wemby or Shaq, number one overall pick in the
Shaq,
same draft?
Are we talking
Shaq.
about in today's era or even back
We
then?
talking about. I'm going to preface this and say to today, if the
Shaq.
draft was happening today.
Like I said, I would still say Shaq because look at, like I said, Gobert got the bag, and Wemby's outdoing Gobert's DPOY numbers. But Shaq today, of course, in his rookie season shape, you got to think no one was running. Shaq could run basket to basket like it was nothing until he got bigger. Like he literally was unstoppable as far as speed, power, breaking rims. Come on now. Wemby, he's like a do-all, taller version. It seems like what they want Kevin Durant to do. Well, they want him to do what Kevin Durant does, but also rebound. Like I still say Shaq. There's nothing I'm seeing Wemby outdo Shaq in.
If you go look at the podcast episode Shaq did with All the Smoke with Matt Barnes and Steven Jackson, Shaq was talking about how his father was so hard on him about how he plays the game. He was saying like the fact that every time you dunk, like try to like aim for like breaking the rim. No one wants to deal with a guy like that.
No.
No, like
People,
no.
they're not built for that kind of aggression coming at them.
No, they're not
Like
built for
that's
this type
gonna
of.
get text in today's game. Like
They're
a
not built
dunking
for
his is
that.
a tech.
You know, I put you like this because I had a debate with somebody about this and everything. Draymond wouldn't want no smoke with Shaq.
Oh no,
That's
Draymond.
different.
Draymond ain't got nothing for Shaq. But
Well, that's
okay,
different.
preface
Draymond,
that.
That like say
No,
it's different. It's different things. Like I said, because you gotta think. Rodman still has Shaq on straps,
but Rodman's built different than Draymond. Like
but
Draymond ain't built like Rodman though.
yeah, Draymond. Yeah.
but people still always try to count Draymond out. That's all I'm saying.
No,
I'm not
I
saying
ain't
he's
counting
gonna be on the
Draymond
block
out,
with him,
but
but he's going to try to put some of a fight. But like at the same time, teams literally had to stack their teams with untalented tall people just to get the fouls. They needed like at
so
least 15 fouls on the bench just
let
to
me
be able to
ask you
show.
this, because I figured you guys will have that opinion. Do you think the GMs today would draft Shaq number one overall in a draft with Wemby?
No.
It comes down to what team it is, to be honest. I'll say that because certain teams are all going to the big having to shoot threes. There are teams where bigs don't have to shoot threes still, but it comes down to what teams it has the number one overall pick, and if they already have a big that can shoot a three or not.
Okay.
Because a Miami team, they would take Shaq, hands down, because they don't need a big man to shoot threes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
And
I
they got
guess
an old head GM.
also too, if we're trying to be hypothetical, we have to ask ourselves who would be a top 5, top 3 team always in not top 5, bottom. Who will always have a top 3, top 5 pick, right? Like
Right now,
somebody
Detroit.
like,
Right now, Detroit.
yeah, and
Orlando.
and I won't be surprised if Detroit decided to pick Wemby over Shaq.
Yeah, because they're looking for the flash in the pan, sell tickets, generational talent. But Shaq, again, is a generational talent and generational size of individual that can play basketball at a high level.
Y'all better move.
Yep.
Y'all better move out.
I like that. Well, next one for you. I'm gonna keep it in the NBA again. Let's go. If you were starting your franchise right now, would you pick Ray Allen or Klay Thompson?
Jesus
So
Shuttlesworth.
when you say starting my franchise, like talking about from scratch, this is my franchise player.
Right.
Jesus
Ray Allen.
Shuttlesworth.
Klay has never been a franchise player. He's a franchise role player, but literally Ray Allen carried the Bucks and Seattle for a while. He is a franchise player. Before the injuries, the man literally got a movie role because how good he was. Like the man could cut, dunk. I'm just saying he could cut, dunk, and shoot.
Wait a minute.
There was nothing you could do with Ray Allen, bro. And he wasn't even the biggest guy, but he was dunking on people. He was all day. Like the way he just, come on now. Like I said, and to convert to like almost strictly a shooter, and people still could not stop it. The man practiced by laying flat on his back, popping up and shooting threes. He practiced that, especially even while at Miami, for situational awareness. Klay, gotta say, is undeniably one of the best forms for shooting ever. Still, record for points in a quarter, 37.
To be
a franchise, get the ball to him.
To be a franchise player, you have to be a good to great 1v1 player. Mm-hmm. Klay is an average 1v1 player. Ray with the Bucks was a great 1v1 player. Klay is no, because Klay in the world of a Devin Booker, a Bradley Beal, a DeMar DeRozan, a Paul George, a Jaylen Brown, he don't even have a 1v1 game like that. And
you just name all people who can create their own shot, though. All those people you name create their own shot.
Create their own shot, yeah.
Klay, he gets open for his shot.
Yeah.
So let me ask you another question then about these two. Take out all that. Strictly just shooting, who you taking?
Ray.
Okay.
I just say Ray just because your circumstances matter. Your circumstances matter in the sense of, are we talking about like a 3-point contest, or are we talking about shot attempts in a game?
Comparing them, just shooting, pure shooting. I guess give you a scenario then. How about this? You need a 3-point shot. To tie or win the game.
Right. He's a better 1v1 player. And because I have to do this just to keep it fair. I said this about John Stockton and Karl Malone, and I'm gonna say this about Steph Curry and Klay. I can't think too much about Klay when there's a Steph that's involved. I have yet to see where Steph is out for a period of time and then Klay it gets born into its own. We have seen, a month here, 2 months later, a month there, up a glimpse of what Klay can do. But at the same time, Steph was there. Like the game where don't get it twisted, was very amazing. Where he dropped 44 points off of 4 dribbles the entire game. That's pretty impressive. But at the same time, if you follow basketball, they run a scheme where everybody's just running around getting open shots. Ray don't need that. Once upon a time.
Well, even then, when he transitioned to be that spot-up shooter, he has one of the most iconic game winners of all time.